Hi, my name is Cassie, and I am CIPA's marketing chair. And today we have a special treat. We have CIPA's current president here with us, Bob Schram, who is also the creative director for Bookends Design. Bob, thank you so much for being with us today.
Thank you, Cassie. I'm happy to be here.
Yeah, you're a busy man, so I really appreciate your time. Okay, so you are a book designer.
Correct.
This is very important because you are the person who is responsible for turning a manuscript into what we see as a book. Yes?
Correct.
That is such an important job because it's almost like seeing your dream come alive. So tell me, what is the process? What is the first step? What do you need from authors? How do you do it, Bob? How do you do it?
Well, essentially, the first thing is a face-to-face meeting.
Okay.
And, at that meeting, we would get a sense for one another and even decide if we were compatible and wanted to work together. And once that bridge is crossed, I will often get a Word document in the form of a manuscript from an author or publisher. If there are photos in the book, any photos that might go along with it. And we also have a little bit of a brainstorming session where we start tossing around verbal concepts. Like an author might say, well, these are the ideas that I had. And I take all of that into consideration.
Okay.
And then I just start, once I'm cut loose, if you will, I start formulating ideas based on that conversation, that initial conversation. And sometimes there are tangential ideas that come up, my own ideas. So I'll take what the author or publisher has offered, I'll provide ideas of my own, and I generally will put together a few concepts of what I think, starting with the book cover, what the cover of this particular book might look like.
Okay, so you also work on the cover.
Yes, I work on the cover and in the interior. They're often related in that design elements from the cover will often show up on the interior, particularly in the chapter openings.
Okay. Yeah.
But, there's a lot of back and forth in terms of this. Ideas start to become visual concepts once I have formulated a look for these ideas. And then we wind up fine-tuning everything. I liken it to a funnel.
Okay.
Where, an author might say, I like this about this one and that about the other, and sometimes we combine them. And in the process of funneling or distilling, we wind up coming up with a look for that book and or cover.
I love that. I think that is such a special moment for an author, and as an author, as far as the process, when you see your book, I mean, you quite literally turn in the manuscript as maybe possibly even a Word document, like you said, or written, who knows? But then it's when someone like you gives it back to us, it is an incredible moment. It was such a moment to see my book go from typed on Word to a book. And tell me some more.
Well, those are, often it just starts with first round, what I call first round page proofs. You as an author would receive your manuscript in book form. And like you say, people are more often than not pleasantly surprised when they see that because they really didn't have a preconceived notion about what they're going to be seeing when it comes back. But that's an opportunity to proofread, just to make sure everything is the way it ought to be and reflects everything in the order that it was given to the designer in a manuscript, because we're playing around in a program and, mistakes can happen. So, you just have to make sure that everything you had intended is present, and review those proofs, send it back to the designer with corrections or revisions, and go from there. And one word of caution I often will tell a publisher or an author is, when you submit that manuscript initially, please make sure it is edited, copy edited, clean, and with little or no editing to happen, because it becomes very costly to redo that once it's put into page form.
Perfect. That's a great suggestion. I mean, that by the time we turn in the manuscript to you, it should have already been through the editors and pretty much everyone who had a hand in making sure that the book was pristine before this moment happens.
And there are always light edits that are going to come up, and I always incorporate those into my design fee.
Okay.
But you don't want to rewrite your manuscript once you've handed it over.
Exactly. Bob, this is such great information. I am so excited I got to talk to you about this because, again, it was like a dream come true to see my book turn into a book. And it was most certainly done by a person such as yourself. And I've always appreciated that process. So tell me, Bob, how can people get a hold of you?
Well, essentially, you could reach me at bookendsdesign.com, which is my website, or email me at bob@bookendsdesign.com.
Okay.
Or just check in with me at a CIPA meeting. I'm at all of them, it seems like.
You are the president.
Particularly given my current role. So I always like engaging with people face to face. If you're at a meeting, just come forward and talk to me.
Okay, perfect. Well, thanks again, Bob. And once again, this has been your 5-minute tip for the week. And we will see you next week with another 5-minute tip.
Well, thank you, Cassie.
Bye-bye.